everybody. Guess what? We are here live today. You know I like to do it live. It's Osiris with 15 minutes to show. And for our guest today in studio, we have on our Zoom camera, Mr. Michael DNTUONO. Hey, Michael.
How are you? Good to see you again.
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for getting up at the early. I mean, it's late where you are. You're back east. So we were the one at the crack of dawn this morning. So thank you for coming onto our show today. Michael, just for the guests and the fans out there, is a socio-political artist. He is known as the Rockwell of the resistance. He has a show called Black Injustice. He also is just a well-known socio-political artist, as I said. So a lot of his things, he's shown with Banksy, he's shown with Keith Harding, and a bunch of other people that you guys would know about. So Michael, let's get into it. What's going on today in your world?
The world is sad about Ruth Bader Ginsberg.
I know, I heard, and I posted my condolences online as best I could, and to her family and friends and all of us out here that are extended people, we will definitely miss her. And I hope that I am doing something wonderful to keep people inspired and to help her memory stay alive. She was a woman that really believed in rights, social justices, and those kinds of things. So to get into our show today, Michael, what started you? Why did you choose to be a socio-political artist versus a landscape artist, a photographer, abstract expressionist, or any number of things that you could have been? What took you on this journey?
Well, I always had a low tolerance for injustice. So that's a part of it. And the other part is I kind of accidentally stumbled into it. I did a painting in 2009 on Obama's 100th day in office. I put a crown of thorns on his head because they were saying he's the one. They were, McCain was saying that, and it was all that about his popularity at the time. And I was having an installation in the park with it, and I really wasn't prepared for the response to that. I had death threats. I had thousands of emails and letters. Fox News got a hold of it. They upset the Christian right. They were busing people down, protesters down.
Yeah.
And so my wife, bottom line is my wife said, "You're not going." So I fought it, but eventually I said, okay. There were lots of death threats and things like that, and the pressure. I just wasn't used to it at the time.
Yeah.
So I didn't, but it upset me that I gave up my First Amendment right to paint what I want and show what I want. So ever since then, I swore to myself, I'm going to paint whatever I want. If you don't like it, don't look at it. But basically, if they'd have left me alone, I probably would be painting flowers or clowns or something. But
your art, the one reason that we loved having you as a guest, and thank you again, is that your art says something. All art says something. But because yours is in line with the politics of the country and the international laws that stand that could affect us all at a very basic human level, it does have a unique place in the art world. So I know that Arnold Schwarzenegger has purchased some of your art. I believe you told me that there was a portrait of himself or something that you painted. And also I know that Pete Seeger is one of the people that, like what you do and support what you do. So now, yesterday, I believe it was, the news was lit because Banksy, he lost a case against his art. The argument was that because he disappears and he puts his art on public spaces, nobody knows who he is. So who knows who he is? So it could be anybody doing it. What I'd like to know from you is that you've shown with, exhibited with him. So I want to know, how is that going to affect all of us artists? I'm an artist as well. How is that going to affect? Is that going to have something to do with any artist being able to put their work? What if they go off for 3 weeks and come back and somebody steals their work and takes it?
I don't think that has any significance for the rest of us, unless you're going to be have total anonymity. and not be able to prove who you are. But he can prove who he is without revealing it publicly. I think. I don't know. That's the difference between this case and any other copyright case.
Well, the reason. Go ahead. The reason I found him interesting is that his art, like yours, has a intended social political message. This particular thing was about a guy that everyone's seen throwing a thing of flowers into protesters. The fact that they were flowers going into a situation that was agitated, I found interesting. He could have had a brick or something, but he chose for the man to throw flowers. I thought that showed some sensitivity in him. And so going back to your art, I see the same sensitivity in your work. You are like this piece behind you in the background that I can see. There is an American flag. There are several people. Looks like there's several kinds of people, so it's diverse. There is a young white kid, there's a woman, there's a military person. It looks like you've represented everyone. And it looks like everyone is saying, all of us want the same things. All of us want social justice. So your art speaks to that. So when you do a show like Black Injustice, what helps you pick the guests on the show? Are they also social political guests, or you have a variety of guests, or is that, exactly what you do? You understand what I'm saying?
My film was called Black Injustice America.
Yes.
I took my art to protests. I led protests with it on trucks and banners, and I gave out posters. And through my art, I got to meet Van Jones, who's in my film, Cory Booker, different people like that, Eugene Robinson, who were all agreed to, be interviewed for it, because that was about that particular issue.
Yeah.
The show that I'm doing currently is called Democracy's Last Stand.
Absolutely.
And that's about our democracy being at risk this election and what we can do about it. So I have different guests for that, like Malcolm Nance, Peter Yarrow of Peter, Paul, and Mary, different people like that, to talk about our democracy and how we have to preserve it and the importance of that. As far as this painting is concerned, this is called What Makes America Great. And here's the answer, and it's diversity. That's why we're the great melting pot. So I have every type of person represented here that have been demonized, but yet are what makes us great. Matter of fact, I got a comment, because you do get response.
That's why I said it's art and response. Yeah.
Response isn't really appreciated, but like the one somebody asked, how come you don't have a straight white guy in there? And so I had to ask him, well, I'm not sure, is that comment racist or homophobic?
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's a reflection of some of the attitude that we have. My art's the response to my art is a barometer of our social mores. You get to see both sides of how people react.
Now that brings up a point, because the fact that he interpreted the young kid as possibly LGBTQIA plus or whatever because of the colors he's wearing, it depends on how people think, because it's also the United Colors of Billington. Remember Billington? United Colors of Billington. They were doing this before LGBTQIA got their ability to stand up for themselves. So I think it's a matter of how we think too, as to matter of how our minds, how we accept diversity and how we place judgment on things that we don't necessarily understand. And so that leads, go ahead.
People's interpretation is a reflection of their own past experiences. And that's why it's art and response, because I really enjoyed hearing the different interpretations. And that was the point of that first painting that they tried to shut down. It was called The Truth, coincidentally, because the one that's about Obama. About Obama. What is the truth? You were hearing one thing on Fox News, another thing on MSNBC. There's got to be only one truth, which has to be objective. Yet, through the filter that we all see it through all our experiences, it's really subjective. And that's the interesting part.
And also, I would think that art like yours, again, it does make a statement. It's not like somebody has to say, someone, what were you thinking when you painted the bridge over troubled waters? You know, whereas yours says it's in your face. I'm all in your face. Now, as an Italian man, as a white man, or whatever however you identify with, do you ever get flack from people from other cultures thinking, you know, that thing, is it culturally appropriate for you to stand up for us when it's our fight, rather than think we need all the people that we can get? We need all the people that we can get for justice. So do you ever get that? Is that something that comes up often?
Rarely, because I got a lot of attention with some of my paintings. But, you know, why wasn't it a black artist? And, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not black, but you know, I haven't suffered it, but I could empathize. And I think you need everybody, and you know, you need the white people, black people, everybody to just decide what is wrong and show that, you know, racism is wrong. It's like the color of your skin should be any more significant than the color of your eyes or your hair, and the ridiculousness of that should be exposed, and we all have to come together to end racism.
And absolutely.
So that is so that's the message that you want people to get from your work.
Absolutely. And I think it opened a lot of eyes, because these paintings, my racism paintings, are several years old at this point. So, but,
They look so fresh.
well, unfortunately, they stay relevant.
Yeah, they do.
I think we're hitting a certain fork in the road. I think maybe this is the only good news that I've seen in 2020.
And you know what?
White people protesting.
I was going to say the same thing. The fact when you mentioned Peter, Paul, and Mary, I think it's interesting that they can take a song and do the same song, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, and it be so relevant. That's a songwriter. Those are people that had something to say, because it's still around and it's 50 years later, whatever it is, he still has the same message. So what does that say about us? What does it say?
We're not changing quick enough. You know, there's that us versus them mentality that is a very bad part of the human condition. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it could be color, it could be racism, it could be religion, all these man-made artificial separators.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I know we're getting close to the close of our show. You know, we only do it live for 15 minutes. We love it. So what can we expect for you? I know you mentioned your show, Democracy for Now, right? Democracy, Justice for Now, right?
It's called Democracy's Last Stand.
Last Stand.
Response, which is right there at the top of my background. And you'll find it right away, Democracy's Last Stand. 3 episodes, in-depth interviews with a lot of very interesting people that you'll recognize.
Yeah, you did. I know I watched some of it. I've got so many Democracy's Justice, Democracy Last Stand. They've got Mr. President running on HBO. I think they've got so many things with democracy and justice and injustices and things going on that, you know, your brain can get rattled sometimes. But I do know that you did an amazing job speaking to Ture, who I really love. He's quite interesting to talk to. And I remember that you also spoke to Malcolm Nance, and Malcolm is with CSNBC. What is he? What news?
Yeah. He's,
So it was good to hear.
Yeah, it was good to hear all of their different opinions about what's going on. And wow, what do you really quick off subject, what do you think? How do you think this is all going to turn out with the laws in terms of our amendments and what we can do as human beings now and all this stuff, with all the new things coming up with such a change and pivotal point in history?
Well, it all depends on the election coming up in just a few weeks.
Yeah.
And however that goes, the difference is going to be night and day towards racism, towards the economy, towards COVID, and most importantly, our environment. I mean, we have to take it seriously.
That's very serious.
Science do matter, almost as much as art.
Even more, I would say, because without the environment, we won't have anybody, we won't have anywhere to do any art. But the good thing is that there are people like you and I and other people all over the world that we can join hands with, whether they're visible to us or not, that are in support of exactly what you're doing and exactly what you're standing for. And like you said on your show, Democracy's Last Stand, this is Democracy's Last Stand. I do believe that because of technology, it doesn't matter whether we get it together or not, time will force everyone to change, whether we want to or not, because it will move. It's moving fast, faster than I've ever seen it move. Even everyone is saying it's moving fast. I know it's due to technology and our rate of how we're perceiving and receiving information. So again, Michael, thank you so much for coming on our 15-minute show. For those of you out there who haven't heard of him, get with it. He has artandresponse.com if you want to check him out. Democracy's Last Stand is his new show. Also, you can check out Black Injustice in America if you want to. It's a really interesting piece as well for those of you that are inclined to like this kind of subject matter. And Michael, again, where are you on Facebook, Twitter? What's your hashtags on IG, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
You know what?
Artresponse.com.
I'm on Facebook. I've been off of Twitter now, but
Well, that's okay.
yeah, you'll find me. You can't not find me. Just look me up. But thank you so much for having me. That's what I want to say. I really want to thank you. I appreciate it.
You are so welcome. And for those of you that can't say his last name, might not know how to spell it, may read half through the credits, it's Michael DNTUONO. And he's a little Italian white guy that hangs out with all the black people doing the protesting. You'll see him around. He's very well known and we love him dearly. Bye, Michael. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Don't forget to catch my show, 15 minutes. You know where to find me, onkentertainment1.net and expressinabstract.net. Look for me. I'll see you there. Bye. Don't be square. See you later. Bye. Thank you, Michael. Bye.
Like athlete niggas tweaking, don't know what they on. Backpack with the halves, that nigga flip that, get some more on. Pull up to your crib and get shit bustin' with the 40 strong. Niggas moving slow, still ask you where to lean at. Bustin' out the trap, you know where all my niggas be at. We want all the smoke, so tell all these hoes we need that. And we make you choking, yeah, all my niggas see that. Bitch, I bring the heat, baby. You could call me Hot Wheels. Hit you with this Glock and fill you up like a hot meal. I'm on a killing streak and I nigga got 5 kills. Bodies out the